All right, everybody. Welcome to the Overnight Podcast. We are here for another episode. And last week we were doing NFL one. We're gonna go ahead and do an NFL one again. So as of today, as the podcast is coming out, we have something to touch up on for you guys before we actually get into it. But let me go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is DRIFTXPORT. You guys know you guys can get all my links in the description below. I am on stream and stuff like that all the time, so make sure you guys check that out. And go ahead and let me introduce my co-host again. So go ahead, guys.
All right, it's your boy INVOLTING. Find my links in the description as well.
Yes, sir. It's your boy Justice, aka ARZAH. You can also find all my social links in the description below.
All right, that's cool. So as of today, as we're recording this, everyone already knows about this, so we're not going to touch too long on it. We're going to give a little bit of our opinion on it, but today Patrick Mahomes went ahead and got a huge deal, 10-year, $400 million. All that. If you guys want to know the details, I'll probably link an article in below. But other than that, my honest opinion on it while we get started onto it, I really think that he deserves it. It's a lot of money for someone to play 10 years. Like, as a player, I don't know if I would want to play that long, but I definitely would want the money. But I'm going to let them say something before I say what I have to say after that. But I'm going to go ahead and let them give their honest opinions. So go ahead, guys.
I think it's smart that they locked him up for the next 12 years. That because of the 10 years they gave him and then the 2 years on his current contract. I think it's smart because they paid him enough to where he's going to be the highest paid quarterback and he'll be good for the next cap raise and quarterback market price upgrade. So he'll still be one of the highest paid quarterbacks even when his contract's ending. So I think it was good for both sides, and he has compensation for injury and guaranteed money. So yeah.
That is clutch.
I think it's stupid. Lamar should have got that deal. I was joking.
All right, Lamar.
I don't really have an opinion on it. I just think that's a lot of money. Because he could get hurt or something like that. And I don't know.
Yeah, but like Don said, he's going to get paid if he gets hurt anyways. I mean, it sucks for the team. Of course, as an organization, they're going to be kind of heated if he gets hurt. But, I mean, it is what it is. But the way I think about it,
because if he get hurt, he can't reach his incentives and stuff like that, and I don't know.
That's true.
I mean, it's good.
He loses money, but he still gets money for being hurt too. So it's you're making money either way.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I have to say before we go farther into our topics today, it's really smart. Like Don said, for them to pay him this money, I guarantee he's a great player for that long. He's gonna be with them through everything now. It does kind of hurt players on their team like Chris Jones that are frustrated that they got a franchise tag and want to get paid more. So we'll see how that turns out. But I think it definitely benefits other players. And one of the players that I really like to think about, like I said, I was telling them before the podcast started, and I'm explaining to you guys real quick, is Dak Prescott. He was fighting with the team. He wanted to get paid more. Now, I'm not saying he's worth Patrick Mahomes' money, but he's a top 5 quarterback, and he definitely deserves some money. So for him to not...
He's worth more.
I don't know about that. But he definitely wanted to, get paid, and he didn't get paid. So he decided to threaten to sit out. Then they signed Andy Dalton, and then it's forcing him into signing the 1-year deal that he signed because, of course, he wants to start. He didn't want to be that guy that looked like, okay, I'm going to sit out because I got Andy Dalton. Of course, he wants to try to prove himself, so he takes his 1-year deal before the Patrick Mahomes deal, and now the Patrick Mahomes deal happened, and now next year he can really say, you know what, I'm a top 5 quarterback, I'm worth some money. If this guy can make, $400 million, I definitely can make, a certain amount of money after that. Not worth $400 million, but he can definitely make some money too and get his bag too after that, especially because, like I said, he's putting up top 5 stats, and he is really the main part of the team. So I think that benefits other players like that, and he really made a high IQ play to sit down and take this 1-year deal and bank off Patrick Mahomes getting his bigger contract.
Mm-hmm.
So this week we're gonna go ahead and get into our top 5 receiver list. We started teasing you guys in the last episode about it. So we were on our QB list, so we started teaching you guys about the receivers and stuff like that. So we decided to do a top 5 list, and the categories that we're doing are our all-time favorites. Top 5 receivers in the game right now. Top 5 we enjoy watching right now. A first-year breakout receiver, a second year because we didn't get to cover it because the podcast got interrupted in the middle of it last season. And our top 5 offensive units heading into next season. So we're going to go ahead and let one of them start. I've been talking for a majority of the time, so I'm going to go ahead and let one of them start so they can go ahead and start their list. Now, I don't know which one you want to start, but take it away.
Let's just start personal receivers, right?
Well, yeah, you can
Top
do
five
personal.
favorites.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like who's starting the whole list in general. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we're
I'll start
starting.
it.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna see a trend with this for my favorite personal receivers. Number 5, I have Josh Gordon. Number 4, Rashard Hollywood Higgins. Number 3, Terrell Pryor. Number 2, Jarvis Landry. Number 1, the GOAT, Randy Moss.
Ooh, I like that. I like that list a lot. All right, so you want to keep going down your list now? So we'll hop
Uh,
into the next one. Or you want to do it?
all
Or
right.
should we just do it like that? Like, or you want to do it in parts? We can kind of like do it on the fly here. We could do it by parts. We can all do each part at once.
Yeah, we could just
I
do
said let's just
like
do
our parts.
parts.
Okay
Yeah.
then. All right. Well, I'll hop into my all-time favorite then. For me, starting at my honorable mentions, I had 2 honorable mentions that I couldn't just slide in there, but I do like them a lot. I like Torrey Holt, Anquan Bolden. They're my honorable mentions. I really thought about them. I wanted them on my list. Now, I originally had Torrey Holt on my
Okay.
list, but I knocked someone off for him because I remember this person. So my 5th one, Isaac Bruce. Duo for Torrey Holt. I love them as a duo. I love the whole Rams team around that era. This was a fun team to watch. In my 4th spot, we got Steve Smith. I love that guy. I use him in Madden like every year. Dylan can try into this and tell people that I do use him every time he comes out. I try to get him once a year when he is in the game. He's a Madden guy. I like him for Madden and for life. 4th one, or 3rd one now, I like Marvin Harrison. Just a personal favorite. Growing up, watching him highlights or like seeing highlights of him after getting into football, I just really liked him. So next, Randy Moss, and then first, my personal GOAT. To me, one of the greatest receivers of all time. Could be the best if he had a better quarterback. Larry Fitz.
Alright, so for my top 5, I didn't have any honorable mentions. Like, my top 5 is like a normal top 5 I'll give anybody for receiving. Alright, so my number 5 is Keenan Allen. He's a beast to watch, and he's goated. And then my number 4 is Jarvis Landry. I've always watched him since like college. That's most of these people I've watched them coming from college going into the NFL. And then my number 3 is Julio Jones. He's a beast, bro. That kid's nasty. Yes, I called him a kid. My 2nd is Cole Beasley. Can't believe we lost him, bro. Homie was like one of the shortest receivers. He's got the best hands. And then my number 1 overall is Tavon Austin. He's just so fun to watch. I've watched him since high school. So.
Taylor Austin's an interesting one. I remember, dude, like being a Cardinals fan like for so long and playing against some of the Rams. I remember there was a game, dude. When they first got Todd Gurley his rookie season, that's when we were like undefeated at the time. We were 3-0 and we were like really good. I think we went 13. I think that's the season when we went 13-3, or maybe not. That might have been the season Carson Palmer got hurt before we went 13-3. But anyways, we were like doing so good, and Todd Gurley came out like his first game. I think it was an NFC debut. I think it was his debut game. I'm not sure about this or not, but I know Todd Gurley just torched us that game. And there was a play where Tavon Austin was in the backfield too, or whatever, and there was a fake handoff to Todd Gurley, and they gave it to Tavon Austin instead, and he ran that mofo for like 45 yards against us. I ain't even gonna lie, like it's so hard to keep track of him because he does like their kick returns, their punt returns. He was playing receiver, running back, sweeps. He was just so like mobile, like on the field. Like he was one of the first players that I ever got to witness watching 2 times a year do that against my team over and over and over, and it'd be so hard to stop.
He did it all the time in college too. But he had a Stedman and Bailey for college. Like they were the duo for Michigan. Dude, they were always like them two are fucking nasty.
They played on the Rams.
And then on the
together.
Rams together, like they were pretty dope on the Rams too.
Yeah.
Stedman and Bailey's probably like my 6 because he's fun to watch too. Just sexy guy, like
Until he
the
shot
whole
himself.
health problems. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into our top 5 receivers right now. Who wants to start that one off?
I guess
I'll
I can
start
start that since I.
All right, are we going from?
Yeah,
Are we going
since I
from?
went last, but we can just go like reverse or something.
All right, cool. We're going from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5. How you guys want to do it?
5-1.
5 to 1. All right, let's get it.
5 to 1. All right. So my number 5 is OBJ, and then my number 4 is Devontae Adams. He's nasty. And then Antonio Brown, and then Michael Thomas, and then Julio Jones.
Mm,
I just
I
think
like
Julio
that.
Jones is. He'd
Yeah,
be my six. He'd be my honorable mention if I had one.
Mm.
It was either him or OBJ at 5. So I just put OBJ because I don't know.
No, I
I
like
just put
OBJ.
OBJ over him.
That's a good choice. I actually have him on my list too.
I don't know. To me, Julio Jones is his IQ is crazy.
It's a monster player, man.
Uh,
All right, so for me, I did it similar to him by adding Antonio Brown. I know he's not in the league, so I did one with Antonio Brown and without Antonio Brown, just in case he doesn't get in the league this year. But I'll start off with my with Antonio Brown list. So if he were to get signed this season, my fifth was OBJ. Now my fourth is going to be pretty low to some people, but I'll explain my reasoning why. I have Michael Thomas at fourth. Now I'm not saying he's not talented. He's got amazing hands. It's just the team around him is so good, and when you got a quarterback like Drew Brees is throwing you the ball a lot, it's easy to get the amount of yards he's getting. I'm not saying it's not easy, but it's easier to get that many yards when you're a high level player like he is when you're getting that many targets. If that makes any sense. My third and second are really close. I want to say I think I might be the only one that has this person this low. My third is Julio. I have him that low. Only because of the red zone, he's not really targeted as much. To me, he's not a deep threat. Well, he's a deep threat, but he's not a threat in the red zone as much because he's so busy getting doubled and triple, which makes sense because of the player he is. But the only reason I put this other player above him, and it's not because this is post bias. I'm not being biased because he's on our team now. But I have DeAndre Hopkins ranked at second because not because he's a Cardinal now, but because I see him the same way I see Fitz. Like, he played with so many quarterbacks, and he's just so productive with the quarterbacks that he played with. And, there's a season when he played with 5 different quarterbacks, still put up 1,000 yards. They still made the playoffs, and he's just that guy. He don't drop many balls, he doesn't do a lot of talking. Same thing like Julio, don't do a lot of talking, does a lot of playing. But the quarterback play really affects how good he could really be. Like when Deshaun Watson stepped into the picture, he was arguably the best receiver in football or considered the best receiver in football. So I think with a quarterback, his whole career, like if you gave him a Drew Brees, I could see him being a little more dominant than Julio. My personal opinion. One, I have Antonio Brown. To me, when AB was in the league, he was already better than most people. And, that guy was putting up numbers with Big Ben. And, you don't get a lot of receivers that get 1,500 yards, and he did twice. So I just see him as a dominant player. And then my top 5 without AB, I'm going to go a little fast just because I already did my reason explaining. But my 5th, I slid in Juice. I think Juice is really underrated. Jarvis just doesn't get talked about a lot.
mm-hmm.
He got a lot of media now that he's with the Browns. With the Dolphins, he was just overshadowed. People didn't talk about him. He was an OBJ shadow a little bit. But now that they're on the same team, they can see what they can do on the same field again, like they did in college. And you can see that he produces anywhere on the field, outside, slot. Run blocking is amazing. Literally reminds me of, this is our generation of Fitz. Literally does all the dirty work no other receiver wants to do. That automatically should put you in the top 5. My 4th, OBJ. Again, my 3rd, Michael Thomas. 2nd, Julio. 1st, Diop.
Okay.
Alrighty,
I haven't
wow.
seen. I think he's gonna make the league. That's the only reason I put him on my list.
Mm.
Like I feel like a team's gonna pick him up.
Okay.
I don't know about Jarvis top 5.
Ooh.
Really?
What? I gotta say,
I mean, he is nasty.
yeah, I think he's top
He's
5.
cold, but
Okay, I want to hear him.
Oh, yeah, I gotta hear. Yeah, we gotta hear. Because there were some players I was thinking of, but I decided to put him in there.
alright, there's gonna be some debate about mine. So
Okay.
not so much like the rest of my list, but the number 5. Alright, so number 5, I got Chris Godwin. Now he's only had the one big season last year,
Mm-hmm.
but that was his 2nd year in the league. So I think, or no, 3rd year in the league. So
Yeah,
I think he has a lot more left in him, especially pairing him with a quarterback like Brady.
And especially because he's young.
Yeah, he's younger than Mike Evans. He's gonna I think Mike Evans was probably 6 for me, but Chris Godwin barely edged him out just because I think that he's gonna be a better player when he's at Mike Evans level.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4, I have Devontae Adams. Number 3, DeAndre Hopkins. Number 2, Michael Thomas. And number 1, Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I like that list. I do agree with the Chris Godwin. Now I am on the side that I'm in the middle about it. Like I said, that was a risky one for me. I would say, the only reason that I could say I put Juice above him, and I didn't really think about him. I ain't even gonna lie, because I was thinking about players like Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, people that have been there, done that, and like you said, he only had one good year, so I guess like getting Brady, it's an improvement. A quarterback play definitely. We just gotta see how it plays out. Like you said, if Tom Brady comes out and they connect real good, and he gets 1,000 yards every other season, it's gonna be great. And I think like that makes sense for you to put him there actually because like like you said, you brought up Mike Evans, and the one thing that is on everyone's mind is Mike Evans is gonna get them double team looks. They ain't gonna give them double team looks to Chris Godwin like unless like especially with Tom Brady because he's gonna check down to his running backs. He got Gronk. You can't double team everyone. They're in the same situation like a lot of offensives that have multiple like key pieces. Like you can't just double team everyone. So when you got someone like Mike Evans and Gronk on the field, you're gonna get them looks. You're gonna get them throws. So I do agree that he'll get 1,000 yards. Is he top 5 worthy? I'm not sure. I do agree that you could put him there. Like there's a debate. And like a debate against it and for it, so I do agree with that a lot.
I just don't see how you could have someone like not on your top 5 or close to it that averages like he's only played 3 years in the league, but each year he's averaged over 15 yards a reception. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's good. No, like I said, there's an argument for and against it, and I'm definitely like seeing more 4 points now than I am against it. Like, the only thing I would be against it for, really, is because of the type of quarterback Tom Brady is, and BA being the coach and taking them shots deep. It's like, we could be saying right now that, he's not a top 5 receiver, but that he could play like a top 5 receiver, and then Tom Brady not play like a top 5 quarterback, if that makes any sense. And I'm not saying Tom Brady is not the GOAT, but I'm saying he could have a really bad year as a quarterback on a new system, and then make the receivers look bad when the receivers are actually good.
Yeah, but that 15 yards per reception is just crazy. Like, that's up there with, like, Julio, like not even Michael Thomas is putting up those numbers. That's like Julio Jones and Mike Evans. Even Mike Evans is crazy when it comes with that.
Yeah, and
he's almost at 16.
Yeah, and again, that's why I have Michael Thomas so low. Nothing against him. Like I said, he's extremely talented and he plays at a high level and he is a high level receiver. Could be talked about as the best receiver, but like I said, when you have a quarterback like Drew Brees and you run the routes that he runs, out route slants. They're not really his fault, but the offensive scheme, and then when you get 30 throws to you a game, like, you're going to get, he's got double the receptions of more people. He's got double the targets than some of these people on top 5 list that I have on my list. Like, he had over.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that.
Well, yeah, again, the receiver talent outside of him isn't so great. Like, it's good, but it's not great. It's not his level. Now that they have Emmanuel Sanders, we're going to see, Drew Brees, like, be able to pass the ball around a lot more and see if Michael Thomas can do the numbers like that with less receptions. That's what I'm really aiming for. I think I could really edge Michael Thomas a little higher if he gets the same amount of receiving yards and maybe not as many receptions, if that makes sense, or not really targets. Does that make sense?
I think he has some of the best hands in the league, though.
No, hands down, he does.
Nice.
He does have like some of the best hands. Like if you're going off hands alone, him and D-Hop are arguably like super great, and then Julio's up there too. They're a hard tie. Like I don't see one better than the other.
Lock it up, boys.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hop into our top 5 to watch right now. They don't have to be particularly the best in the league. There's people that you enjoy watching, so we'll go ahead and hop into that now. We could do it again. We can flip it again, and I'm always the middle guy, so I'll be in the middle. But go ahead, yeah.
All right, so number 5, Jarvis Landry, because he's doing a lot of the dirty work, but he's on my favorite team, so I watch him every week. So I just grown to loving like what he does, and it's just the little things that Jarvis does that separates him from other receivers. And then number 4, Mecole Hardman, explosiveness. Don't even have to explain myself. It's every time he's on the field, there's something's gonna happen. Number 3, Julio Jones. Some of the catches he makes. Julio is just a different animal, like you said, Justice. That's why I have him number 1. Like, although he doesn't get the red zone targets, I feel like that comes with the double and like even triple team sometimes that he gets, and with
Yeah.
Matt Ryan not being a very good like red zone quarterback,
Yeah.
I feel like that
Big block.
affects Julio. But I mean, he still does with like what he gets. He still gets a bunch of yards. He might have the touchdowns to show for it, but I mean,
But you know one thing,
Like,
one thing that guy
Julio's
is
that
though.
receiver.
Go ahead. Yeah, he is that receiver. And one thing I want to say is, I remember a game when we played them last year, and they had like the NFL mic'd up thing, and Fitz walks over to Kyler and says, "Hey, you see number 11?" He's like, "That's the man right there. You're gonna see some stuff today." And the one thing that stands out to me, like you guys are saying, like, yeah, he doesn't get red zone targets, which to me, the thing that stands out the most is he reminds me of Fitzgerald in the way where he does not complain. Like, he's not that guy to go out there and say, you know what, throw me the ball. He will get double. Like, I've seen it live in a game where he played the whole game in 2015 when Patrick locked him up. He had no yard. He had any yard, like barely any yards, 20 yards. But the receivers around him completely destroyed us because you know what? That's the kind of guy he is. Julio will go out there and run a route as a distraction and let his other guys score off of that. And that's the same reason why I was so sad that they traded Mahomes Sanu, because Mahomes Sanu was that guy that people underestimate, and he was killing it in the red zone for them. And Julio was just a distraction. And Julio will go on the sideline and he'll celebrate with his team and not complain. He's not gonna walk up to the coach and say, "Hey, throw me the ball." He's not gonna do the whole AB thing when they're losing. Give me the ball. The whole OBJ thing, for instance, which OBJ is more frustration with the Giants. I understand that. The team's just playing bad, and he's like, give me a chance. That kind of situation is different, but he's not like the other star receivers that are going to get upset if they don't get the ball. Like, he's going to go out there and play for his team and his team only. He don't care about his stats. Even though he hits stats, he don't care about them.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a modern, like, Calvin Johnson. I mean, Calvin Johnson, he played, like, recently, but he's just like the head down, just destroying the field and not saying like a word about it.
For the win.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, Julio Jones, like, he makes like plays that should only be like 3 yards into like 10+ yards, which is just like not many people can do that.
He's just so strong. Like when you throw him up a ball and double team, like not many receivers you can say to where they have the advantage there.
Mm-hmm.
And like another thing, it's crazy about him. Yeah, his size. I was about to say his size and the way that he's able to move his body around like that and get like the verticality that he gets up the field to do like those deep routes is extremely
insane,
crazy. Like, come on, like I'm not trying to hype up my boy P2, but he's one of the most athletic cornerbacks in the league. Like honestly, and any cornerback will tell you that. Like his makeup speed, the way his hips interlock, the way he can change direction, and the way that he makes a play on the ball is like no other corner in the league. We haven't seen that in a while. And for him to get up man to man against Julio, and for Julio to shift his body and beat a guy like P2 like off the line like so easily, it's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but number 3 is Julio, and then number 2 I got OBJ. That's another obvious one for me, no brainer, because watch him play every week. And number 1, Tyreek Hill. Same situation as Mecole. He's just better, and yeah.
Alright. So, you want me to go next?
No, I'll stay in the middle. I'll get in the middle guy. We'll just keep doing it in that same order. So for me, I don't have any honorable mentions in this one. But for me, my 5th is Stephon Diggs. I do enjoy watching him. I like the way he plays. I've always liked him a little bit, so I like seeing him. He's my 5th. I didn't really think of anyone else at the time, so I kind of put him at my 5th. 4th, Devontae Adams is super key. I do like watching Devontae Adams play. Again, he's one of those guys that are like, people don't talk about him, but like his route running is crispy. He's super good. He gets them double looks, and he still helps Aaron Rodgers out a lot. 3rd for me, again, kind of like Dylan's Drew situation, Larry Fitz, man. He's a legend. And the way he's playing at his age that he still is, dude, he still goes out there and balls the hell out for his age. Like, people just think he's going to retire or he should be done. And then he goes out there, and yeah, he's not getting 1,000 yards every season, but that also, again, quarterback play, man. Josh Rosen ain't going to give you 1,000 yards. Kyler Murray, his first year, with a bunch of other people around in the new system, Fitz got to get used to. He ain't going to get 1,000 yards his first season. But
plus, Larry was helping him out with just like reading other receivers and all that other stuff. And so he wasn't having him the primary look out of all the receivers.
Yeah, and it's like, Larry's just, to me, Larry's that guy. Like, Larry is the best receiver to play football. Like, I could put him in my eyes. I put him above Jerry Rice, just because he might not play till he's 40, but he's 40, and he also didn't have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And on top of that, man, like, I just say Fitz is a better because of the things he does off the field. You know, that guy is amazing off the field. The donations, the charity events, you know, his partnership with Richard Sherman to help, you know,
Personality.
kids go to college, you know, personality, you know, hosting players when they don't have hotels to stay in. He flies out their family, pays for people that he's playing opponents to come stay. Like, just the things that he does off the field is how I wish more NFL players were, you know. And the way that he shows respect, you know, he doesn't. When you ever see Fitzgerald celebrating someone's face after he scores, like, you know, he scores
Right.
a big play, throws
That
the ball to the
shit's
referee,
rare.
walks to the sideline, and that's it. Like, nothing. Like, he ain't gonna talk shit to you. He ain't gonna do anything like that. You know, he's just that guy to me. He's been doing it for a really long time.
That's a game.
Second to me, Juice is also my second one to watch. I really enjoy watching Juice. I've loved him since college, and like I said, he's always reminded me of Fitz in a certain amount of ways when it comes to being, you know, on and off the field thing, the things he does with his charity events and the kids and the things he does like that. And like I said, the dirty work that he does as a receiver reminds me of Fitz. You know, he takes on the role that the coaches give him. You know, and guys like look down on him and say he can't be an outside receiver when he can. You know, but the things he does in the slot is already dangerous enough. The run blocking he does, it's amazing. There's nothing like that. Like I said, to me, that's our generation of Fitz. That's Juice. And then my first one to watch is Christian Kirk. I really do enjoy that kid since we drafted him. I didn't know too much about him before we drafted him, but coming into the league and just seeing him on the team, he's been electric to watch. Unfortunately, he hasn't got to play a healthy season once yet, but, you know, they're minor injuries, and hopefully with DeAndre Hopkins and Fitz around him, you know, he's not going to get so much backpacking weight on him, and he'll be able to do good. So we're going to go ahead and hop into our next topic, which is our first-year breakout player. And, oh yeah. I almost forgot. My bad.
Oh, Ricardo, you don't watch college ball a lot?
Not a lot. I watch like LSU games here and there when I can, but I don't sit there and watch like all kinds of college ball games. But I do my studies before the NFL, who's gonna get drafted and things like that, or who my team gets. But I don't sit there and watch like every player coming out like college. I'm more of an NFL guy. I watch all the NFL games, and if they do get in the NFL, you know, I talk about them. But I can't sit there and tell you that I can't predict every player going to be good out of college because I don't know every single player getting drafted. I'm not like that. That's why I lean on Dylan a lot when I talk to Dylan about someone that got drafted. Like, if this person is going to be good, you know, I kind of lean on my boy Dylan a little bit.
I don't even watch college either. I just do like a lot of like draft studies and
same.
like,
That's why I do
look at
draft studies
players.
and stuff like that. And then I'm surprised at who we get or who we might get. But
Yeah,
you know.
no, I love college. I love watching college ball. So I watch a lot of college ball.
The only
Like,
college
every
ball I
week.
watch is whenever Ohio State beats the dog piss out of Michigan every year. That's the only college ball I watch.
Yeah, like I said, I only keep.
There's
I
a
only
lot
keep.
of people
I
that
only.
just watch that one game.
Yeah, I only keep
Or
up with the
ones
LSU boys.
national. Yeah, no, I watch all my Alabama team. I watch every single one of their games.
Man, you just love cheering for teams that people hate, don't you?
Facts.
I love Alabama.
The
Ever since I was
Lakers,
younger.
Bama, Dallas.
Well, it's not even that. Like, when I was young, you gotta remember, I started when I was young, and like my dad put me on to their like practice program because he knew people from there, and like they sent videos and watched them on YouTube, and so like I always watched their practice shit, and so like I like them. I started liking them because of the way they practice and like the way they had their thing. Like, you mess up if it's not perfect, go again, this and that, and so like that's the mentality I got into, and so like that's why I like Alabama. It's like you have to play perfect to beat Alabama. If you don't play perfect, you're not going to beat Alabama. You know what I mean? So that's just what I like. Okay, so the ones I like watching the most are. So my number 5, I have Devontae Adams, and then I have Julio Jones, and then I have OBJ. And then for my top 2, I have Stephon Diggs. Been watching him since college. The boy's nasty. And then my number 1 is Tyreek Hill. I feel so fast.
That's a good list. I like that list. Again, 2 Tyreek Hills at number 1 to watch. He's very exciting though. I can agree with you guys saying he's exciting to watch. I just personally didn't put him on my list, but I do agree with him being exciting to watch. It's crazy what that man
But
does.
watching him because he's just so fast. Like I like track too, and so like that man reminds me of nothing but track. That man is so damn fast.
He's just a glitch. Like, DB's got to be worried. Like, you blink and he's gone.
You're right. I was about to say that.
You better
Blink
not
of
blink
eye,
when he
boy,
calls
it's out of your
Tiger. He's
shit.
fucking
I-
gone.
As a
That's
Madden
a
player,
fact.
Dylan can relate to this, bro. The least player that I enjoy seeing get a new card is fucking Tyreek Hill. I cannot stand when I get on Madden and I see that Tyreek Hill got a brand new card. I just
I don't think you're the only
cannot
one.
stand it, bro. Like, and it's like those are just one of those players that everyone's gonna have, man. Like,
And everybody's gonna abuse him.
this is I can't stand seeing Tyreek Hill in the game. It's like there's just some things you can't do.
Can't beat him.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hop into the next category this time on time. I almost went a little early last time. Totally forgot about my boy Justice, but we're gonna go ahead and hop into it. Like I said, we'll repeat it again. First year receivers that we think are gonna do very good or impact their team right away. And since we had the podcast canceled in the middle of the last offseason, we're gonna do second year receivers that we believe are gonna have a huge impact to their team or be a breakout player. So go ahead and start that one out, Justice, because you're the outside guy that started last in the last one.
Alright, so we're just doing the rookie, right?
You need a first year and a second year player. So a rookie
Alright, so
this
we're
year
looking
and a
at
second year
second
next year. Yeah.
Alright, so for my rookie, these guys already know, but it's CD Lamb. That kid is a monster. He impacted his college team as soon as he got there. He gonna do the same thing once he gets in the NFL. Kid's cracked. And then for my second year, I have Marquise Brown. I feel like he's gonna
Hollywood.
have a good ass year. Yes, sir. I just feel like he's gonna pop off this year.
I do agree with you on the Hollywood one, dude, just because the thing, dude, let's look at the things he did last year, and that's when he wasn't 100% healthy. Like, he wasn't even ready to go when he just went out there and went.
Yeah, he went out there and went because the team needed him.
Yeah, I do like that. All right. So for me, of course, I'm agreeing with my boy Justice. I do not like the Cowboys, and I'm not supporting this. But unfortunately, he is a Cowboy. So I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb, but that's only because I just think the receivers around him are gonna give CeeDee Lamb the opportunity to be great as long as Amari Cooper can actually catch 50% of his balls. You know, I gotta get a little light roast there. As long as Amari Cooper can maintain his
It's
job
true, though,
and catch
man.
the ball, you know, you ain't gonna be able to double everyone. So seeing him and Michael Gallup work is gonna be cool. Now my second year receivers, I have a tie. Couldn't really decide who I want to see do better. One of them is a really big hope, so I only have one in an honorable mention. Instead, we'll do it like that. So my second year breakout player for the first one is gonna be DK Metcalf. I just think watching him in the division, giving Russell Wilson an actual viable receiver since Doug Baldwin to pair with Tyler Lockett. It's really good. Tyler Lockett is really good. And nothing against Tyler Lockett. I think him and Metcalf together. I think people around Tyler Lockett are better than Tyler Lockett by himself. You know, when they didn't have DK Metcalf and it was just Tyler Lockett, the team kind of struggled in the passing game a little bit. But they've been explosive since they got DK Metcalf, and you know that duo could be the new Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse type of vibe. You know, they don't got to be great, but they're good enough to make Russell Wilson light up the field for 1,000 yards each for each receiver. So I do like that. My honorable mention and the guy that I had tied, hopefully, is Andy Isabella. You know, that's massive speed for us. And, you know, we didn't really use him a lot last year. We only used him on sweeps and things like that. But, I mean, we got to see his talent in the middle of the season on a Thursday night game on Halloween against the Niners. He took a slant about 75 yards against the best defense in football and completely torched them. So, I do think
that was fire.
I do think he has the ability to take those small plays and burn the top of the field as long as he can learn the playbook and adapt to our offense. And with a second year of practice, I really think he can do that. So, yeah, those are my picks.
Okay. Can't hate those.
So for my rookie, this was probably the hardest thing I had to decide on, like, on my list. But I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
The other one.
Anonymous?
Yeah, I was going to pick Jerry Jeudy. But I personally think Jerry Jeudy is better than CeeDee Lamb, but the targets around CeeDee Lamb is what's going to separate Jeudy from CeeDee. So I think
that's what I think.
That's why I do think that
they're both very good.
I think that I actually agree with them. I think that Jerry Jeudy is a little better, but like when we're talking about, because I wanted to pick Jerry Jeudy too, but then we were talking about it when we were planning this out. And I just think the talent around CeeDee Lamb is going to be beneficial compared to just Courtland Sutton around Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Because you can easily double both them, and then they don't have really a tight end. I mean, they have a good run game, but when it comes to the passing game, they can easily be both like doubled in the cover 4. As opposed to Dallas, you can't really double CeeDee Lamb, because even if you do double CeeDee Lamb, Mike Gallup is still gonna produce.
Yeah.
And then for my second year, the best rookie receiver last year is going to carry it on to this year. AJ Brown. I
Okay.
feel
I
like,
like that.
Even though DK Metcalf has Russell Wilson and AJ Brown has Ryan Tannehill, there's a big QB difference between them, but AJ Brown just so talented. So the stats he put up last year was crazy. He was easily third place for offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Agreed.
yeah, I think AJ Brown's going to take his dominance in the next season and become the Titans' #1 receiver, as if he already wasn't.
He didn't seem like he had any sign of slowing down either.
He's going to be on a tear.
I like it.
I feel like this year's gonna be weird though because of Corona. Like everything's being postponed and like everybody's just wanting it so much more. So it's like this year is like kind of just weird. Like I feel like everybody's gonna want it more. So
True.
It's gonna be all over the place.
I agree with it being weird, but the way that I agree with it being weird is because like we're talking about people right now, and we're just assuming that people are gonna be good because they did good last year. But the thing is, like the way the NFL is gonna work this year when it does work is the players are not practicing, they're not training together right now. So a player like Andy Isabella or AJ Brown, that had an amazing first year, they don't get that time to practice again and work on the things they did wrong, even though they did good, but they don't get to work on the things they did wrong. So I think going into this season, though, any team that we thought that was good last year, like the Titans or anything like that, you just got to hope that when they get together on week 1, because they're not doing the preseason or anything, as of what we know, they're supposed to not play preseason. So it's pretty much the good teams next year. It's not really going to matter from last year, because the only teams that are going to be good next year are the teams that learn how to click faster than the other ones. So if your team was on the same page week 1 and you guys are already on a good start, you guys are good. And that happens in the NFL, but usually in the NFL, teams don't start to click until week 8, but they had all offseason to practice. Some of these teams and rookies, they didn't get time to practice. Some of them are not even in the facilities working out with their head coach or talking to their head coach just through Zoom calls. So it's like when the people finally get together and they play that first game, whenever they do, literally the best teams next year are just going to be the teams that learn their playbook and can click the fastest.
Yeah, but see, that's where the online meetings and online video chats and all that, that's where the chemistry basically comes in with, for the rookies and all that. Basically the online chatting and talking amongst each other with the online, that's them basically practicing over the summer and all that stuff. The way I see it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too, but it's a lot different from talking over the computer to going outside and running the route and being told the way you're supposed to run the route, or working with your quarterback and having your quarterback throw you the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Some players didn't get the practice. Like Joe Burrow, he didn't get the opportunity to throw the ball to any of his receivers yet. So people like that are in a new situation. It's gonna be kind of tough.
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I can't really say that the team's gonna be great next year. We can anticipate and we can do our educated guess or whatever. But like I said, I can see any team doing great next year. It could be a team like the Dolphins, that don't have the greatest players, but if they connect faster than the Patriots with Cam Newton, where Cam Newton is not even in New England, they have a chance to beat New England right away the first week of the football.
First week.
Yeah. Rather
the
than
best coaching is what's going to take this season.
Yeah, it's
literally
and, playing together.
Because our coach on our Arizona Cardinals said it correctly. You can teach these people how to do things through a Zoom call. You could talk to them, but it's just like school. Are these kids really gonna sit here and listen? Some of these players, some of these rookies, they're young still. Are they really gonna sit there to the computer and pay attention? Yeah, they're not gonna pay attention. It's not like they're actually out there working out and practicing together. You can't make sure they're actually trying. They could be looking down at their phone while you're talking to them, and you wouldn't even notice if their eyes are on you or not because you're talking through a computer.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd like to think that rookies and second years and third years are just they want to improve themselves, and so they're hungry,
Some players do, some players don't. That's why I said it just depends on what teams connect faster.
Mindset.
Yep.
Yeah, literally.
All right, well, let's go ahead and hop into our last category, which is our top 5 offensive units heading into next season. That includes your running back and tight ends. I know this episode wasn't about running backs or tight ends, but you can, put them in this category because, they're a part of the team and the offensive unit. So we'll go ahead and start with Dylan first because he went last. So you got to go ahead, boy.
All right, so number 5, Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, New Orleans Saints. Number 3, Cleveland Browns, baby.
I like that.
I think they're going to take the next step with Baker and Coach Stefanski and Austin Hooper.
You said number 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
In our new and improved O-line, we replaced Greg Robinson, replaced Chris Hubbard, and we get Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin. And on top of that, we keep J.C. Treader and Joel Bitonio. Our only weakness on offense, honestly, is our right guard, but hopefully he can improve around the rest of the talent that he's around. So, the number 2, Baltimore Ravens, and number 1, Kansas City Chiefs.
I like that. I do like that. All right,
That's a good list. Yeah.
I am the middle person, so I'm gonna go ahead. I have 2 honorable mentions that almost slid down, or they're almost my 5th picks. But I found this last team last minute, and I kind of slid them in there. It's kind of questionable, but I like them. All right, so my honorable mentions are the Cowboys and the Eagles. We already know who the Cowboys have. For people who are wondering why I picked the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson and Marquise Goodwin, that's 2 top-of-the-line players that are very fast. And Deshaun Jackson has been doing it for a very long time, including that they have, Alshon Jeffrey and Miles Sanders, which did really good next year. So as long as Carson Wentz stays healthy, that team is very great. So my 5th, and this is the surprising pick, I think would be the Lions. Not a lot of people thought about this. I told Dylan about this right when I found them, just because, Matthew Stafford is actually really good, even though the team isn't great, he's really good, but a lot of that falls on the defense and not winning games because they play games where they score 30 points plus. They just don't stop teams from scoring 30 points plus. So, they got a good set of receivers, Kenny Galladay and, Marvin Jones Jr. I like them. Their tight end's really good. The running back is set, so I really like Kerryon Johnson is actually pretty underrated to me. I like him. Okay, that's that team. So that's my 5th one. 4th, I got the Saints. I do like the Saints too. Again, adding Emmanuel Sanders is great. Taysom Hill does everything on that team. Alvin Kamara, great running game, great passing game. Hopefully the receivers will step up and play for them. So this is where things get a little different from my list compared to Dylan's. I actually have the Chiefs ranked as the 3rd.
Really?
Yeah, just because I like Patrick Mahomes is great. Damian Williams is great. I know they drafted a new running back, and he looks pretty good. I do like the receivers a lot.
Good.
I do like the receivers a lot, but they are extremely fast. And when it comes to actual talent outside of being fast, I gotta see if the Chiefs can just keep it rolling. Because the Niners caught on to it. The Niners caught on in the beginning half, the first 3 quarters of the game. The Niners caught on to how to stop those plays and how to get to Patrick Mahomes. We've seen Patrick Mahomes struggle now, so we're gonna see more QBs, not QBs, of other teams' defensive coordinators can really step up and slow this team down. So I'm not saying that they're not one. They arguably are one. These next 2 picks for me are surprising ones, but I do think this is just off of offense alone as a unit, and they both. One of them I just think is going to improve a lot. And the next one, I just think they did last year, so they could do good this year. But yeah, the Chiefs were my 3rd. So my 2nd was actually the Browns. I do like the Browns offense. And merely because, going off the Chiefs, they're a great passing team, but the Browns are an extremely good running team. And the run was so dominant last year. And to have 2 Pro Bowl running backs in the backfield, you don't need these running backs. You don't need both receivers to get 1,000 yards for them to have a positive season. Realistically, you just need Baker Mayfield to make those throws that count. Literally, you just need him to make the big throws that count, and then they can run the ball down the people's throat and just completely dominate. Go back to Kyle Shanahan's offense last year again. 2 running backs, not a lot of passing. Super Bowl, Falcons offense. 2 running backs, not a lot of passing. Super Bowl, literally puts them in the Super Bowl. The run game, if with the right offensive coordinator, the run game, especially with 2 Pro Bowl level running backs, can be so dangerous. So that's why I got them my second. At first, for my surprise pick, well, not really surprise you guys, but surprise pick for other people maybe, I do got the Cardinals ranked 1 on offense next year, just because we were extremely great last year. Our offensive line is still kind of questionable, but there was a period where Kyler Murray played 7 weeks of football and only got sacked once. Now, a majority of that is because of him running, so I mean that kind of sucks, but as a passer, that kid has a hell of an arm talent. The receivers last year were super great. Our play calling was super great last year, and the offense was something new that not a lot of teams are used to playing against. So I think giving Cliff Kingsbury a chance to improve that playbook and see what worked and what didn't work, we can still like widely gain more momentum going into the next season. And not to mention having DeAndre Hopkins and Fitz on the same team. It's kind of a bit scary when you have 2 people that literally catch everything thrown their way. And not to mention, we still have rookies that haven't been seen, including Christian Kirk, which is not a rookie, but Christian Kirk will also be playing. But including the rookies like Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler, and Keyshawn Johnson, who all played great last year and didn't have a chance to do good at all because Hakeem Butler was hurt. Keyshawn Johnson, was struggling to learn the playbook, but still played. And Andy Isabella was primarily our 4th and sweep player because he did just sweeps a lot. But I'm really excited to see how this team does. And besides DeAndre Hopkins, the reason that I'm really set on this team being number 1 is Kenyon Drake. I think Kenyon Drake is the dark horse on that team that no one is talking about. Literally changed our whole play calling in the middle of the season, and we became a run-first team. And, he put up 800 yards, total scrimmage yards. So that's great for only playing 8 games, or 6 games, I mean. That's a lot of yards to put up in 6 games and be very dominant. So I'm excited to see where we go with that next year. All right, Justice, let's hear your list. Ravens number 1.
No comment on that. Okay, so for number 5, I have the Browns. I feel like they're one of the top offenses, of course, especially with their new additions. And then for number 4, I have the Saints. And then number 3, I have the Cowboys.
I like that pick.
And number 2, I have the Ravens. And then number 1, I have the Chiefs. Like you said, how the 49ers caught onto it, I feel like, because they did make adjustments with him going into the 4th, and then they couldn't stop him. So, if teams do make adjustments, they already have plan B, C, and D.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, every game they won last year in the playoffs, they were down. They started off down and they came back and won. That's just tremendous amount of patience, to do that, and poise just to come back and do that. But it's just like, I can't see them winning every game down in the NFL. If they're going to play like that going into the playoffs next year, I just don't see them doing that. It's hard. It's hard to win games in the NFL, no matter if you're Patrick Mahomes or not. I just think you can't do that every single time. So I'm kind of just curious to see, like, I'm not saying they're not good. Like, I think they're arguably 1 still. I just wanted to change it up and be a little different, but I could still viably fight for them being number 1 just because of their talent alone. I'm just excited to see how the NFL is going to adjust to them. That's the same thing with the Ravens in the same case too. Their offense got put on the spotlight last year, and we're going to see how good they are this year. So, yeah. Those are just my little estimate guesses. I'm not sure if my list is anywhere near right. We might be bad. The Browns could go 8-8. It could be anything, that changes my list. But for now, I think the Browns and Cardinals are going to widely improve, and just the talent around the teams and around the quarterbacks in those situations, it's hard to say they're not going to be good.
For me, I feel like the lowest any of these teams will go is like 10-6. I feel like all these teams are making playoffs next year. Like, I feel like they're all going to win their conference, and
I get it. Anyway, I get it.
Browns and Ravens can't. But
that's what I meant.
Well, they can. He's right though. They can both make the playoffs. They can't win their conference, but
because
they can
isn't there like that new rule? It's like that one extra team or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they're all going to be top of their divisions.
Don't worry, Justice. You don't got to worry about the NFC. You know, NFC West is already going to have they're already going to have all three of those teams in the playoffs. You don't got to worry. The extra wild card spot is already going to be another NFC West team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you already know that.
I mean, the Niners went 13-3. The Seahawks went 11 and something, and you know the Rams went 10-6. So it's like that's already your three playoff teams right there.
Already three playoff teams. I feel like those teams are just gonna have good years, and then I feel like they're gonna have I feel like these top 5 can be like top 6, top 5 for like the next 3.5 years or something like that. Just stay dominant on the offensive side.
I do agree with that.
Story.
Yeah, that's where our defense is kind of scared about the Cardinals, because even if we are good next year, like if our defense is a step up, I'm not sure. I'm excited about our defense though.
I'm excited about next season in total.
Yeah, our team did a whole makeover offseason, so I'm really excited to see things like that. But we have to save that for another podcast before we start talking about our teams. Maybe we'll take time to do an in-depth thing of our upcoming season for our teams. Maybe we'll do a team prediction of how good our team is really going to be, or how good they can be from an in-depth fan standpoint. Maybe we can do that. This guy. Dude, Trayvon Diggs, 14-2.
I'm trolling, bro.
No, I'm just saying that's what you said. So I mean, you could be trolling, but at the same time, it's all fun and games. So everyone's not gonna say that. I'm not gonna come out here and say my team's gonna be trash. The only time I've ever said that is when we thought Josh Rosen was gonna play next year. That's the only time I've ever said that.
Okay. Yeah, no, these teams, they added some good additions. I mean, the Chiefs, they didn't really have to. Neither did the Ravens. Like, they were the most too dominant.
I think the Chiefs I do think the Chiefs needed to add that running back, because, you know, Damian Williams is good and all, but I think, imagine the Chiefs if they had, like, a dominant running back. Imagine if the Chiefs would have landed, like, Devontae Freeman or Melvin Gordon. You know, imagine or when Le'Veon was a free agent, imagine if they would have got Le'Veon. Like, imagine the Chiefs
that would have been crazy.
Not having to pass the ball to win.
Right. Well, no, just for me, is like they pass so much. And so, like, when you don't expect it, like, in my view, like, their running back was already good enough to get the job done. To, like, exceeds their expectation for a running back. Because when they did run the ball, it's not like he only did, like, 2 yards run. Like, he got 5 to 10 like yards per run. And so it's like when they needed that yardage, he got the yardage. And like when they didn't really run the ball a lot, but when they did, he was there, he filled it, he did good with like to me, they didn't really need a fill. Like they didn't need another one, you know what I mean?
All right.
But that's just me.
I think the episode has been pretty long. We're going to have to cut it off here. We only got 5 minutes left, so we're going to go ahead and do our outro right now. I hope you guys really did enjoy this episode. We got another one planned for y'all next week coming up, so be sure to stay tuned for that one. And like I said, it's been your boy DRIFTXPORT. Catch all my links in the description below. I'm going to let them do their outros, tell you if they got any important news for their channels or anything like that. Actually, before I give it to them real quick, follow our Twitter. We made an overnight podcast Twitter. I'll link that in the description below too as well. So other than that, I'm gonna let them do their outros, and yeah.
You can just find my links, my link tree in the description below. And yeah, follow our Twitter.
Alright, so what I want is for like people to comment down who their number one for most offensive team is. Like comment down your number one.
I like that.
And for me, you guys can catch my link tree in the description like Dylan's. And yeah, it's been the Overnight Podcast, and we lit.
All right.